Coming up to game 2 of this best of 3, and Penguin, this is trouble. And LDLC got to find something different. You mentioned TynX just before the breaks. You want to see him on something a little bit more...
I want to see him on the same pick. I don't mind the Kha'Zix. I just want to see more hands-on in the game rather than trying to chase bluezor. Just do your own thing together with Vetheo.
Yeah,
this is what I want to see, that mid-jungle synergy that we're promised and that we've seen.
That we have definitely seen. Well, this is a bop of a tune, and we're going to see if we have a bop of a game coming in with these picks and bans. HeKR going to be banned straight away again, along with the set on the side of LDLC. But for GamersOrigin, they picked a team fighting draft. They picked something that has plenty of AoE ultimates in the last time. Do you see them going back towards... don't fix what's not broken?
You know, you just said it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is what GamersOrigin play the best. They play more aggressive bot side, and the more scaling top side of the map, if you will, with a facilitator jungler. I really like that, assuming, yeah, of course, that the Graves is out of the picture for bluezor. I'm expecting to see him resorting again into something more tanky, such as the Skarner or maybe the Volibear.
See what they want to go for. Bans coming in pretty definitively from the side of GamersOrigin. HeKR, Macaulay, and Lucian, with the Graves and the set banned away by LDLC. Now, do GamersOrigin, depending on what this last ban is, Kalista, go for that first pick Orianna again? I feel like it worked when it needed to, which was that massive shockwave right in the Baron pit. So I feel like it still might be a good pick for them.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, we were expecting really great things from Exakick, and he's been really excelling in the LFL as well, together with YellOwStaR. I would like to see if GamersOrigin do not pick the Caitlyn here for LDLC to go for it and actually commit on this bot side of the map.
Well, looks like they are just going to go with, again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So they're going to go with the ticking clock lady that is Orianna into that mid lane. Again, toucouille had a little bit of a struggle early game, but once he got those 2 items, once he got towards those team fights, he was absolutely fantastic. And Exakick going straight. Is this a salty run back?
No, the reason that I did the for the Ashe is because he had 7 unique champions so far. He had never doubled down on any champion but Ashe. But TynX, he's a great Skarner player too, and we saw how oppressive it was. The second you get that level 6, you can lock down every single lane. Your opponent team falls a little bit far behind. You're not allowed to get this QSS, or you're gonna fall back further in gold. And together with the Ashe, they have so much CC in their kit as a team.
Yeah, and TynX kind of saying to bluezor, anything you can do, I can do better. And again, GamersOrigin don't really need to change anything. I feel like SMILEY did a fantastic job on that Caitlyn. Last time zoned out very well. We saw so many times he was just putting those traps right on TPs. Trundle locked in. That is almost certainly going over to bluezor into that jungle bit. So a nice little bit of stealing stats there for those big team fights if he needs it.
I also really like the Trundle into something like an immobile ADC. Back when the Affiliates meta was really hot, you would see the Trundle a lot because you can pin him through a wall. You can force the flash with just one pillar. You don't necessarily have to do anything. And we talked about how important it is for the Ashe to have the summoners, or you can really catch her off guard and this doesn't get to play the team fight.
And this time around, we actually see Vetheo, despite having a pretty decent game on the Syndra, we gotta be said, this time opting towards the Zoe, much more poke orientated, much more pick orientated with that trouble bubble.
I like it so much because once Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, the Skarner runs in, the arrow runs in from the Ashe. There's so much more pick potential, and it also sort of unlocks things into the map by giving perma prior in the mid lane. This is why Zoe is in my illegal list, if you will, because that constant wave clear without necessarily having to blow too much mana in the early game is just insane.
Yeah, we'll see now what they want to kind of respond to it on the side of GamersOrigin, but the bans are coming in. Maokai banned away again, and I feel like Shemek, he's going to get it banned against him a lot of times. It doesn't really change who or how he's going to play. Morgana banned as well on top of that, so overall, pretty similar bans coming out here from LDLC, and the Camille Renekton means that GamersOrigin, they're trying to just limit what Bando can do in this top side, because again, he wasn't the most amazing Ornn I've ever seen.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see him play the Ornn again here. They have a pretty set plan with the Zoe and the Ashe. All you just need is just more beefy frontline and more sort of flank potential and hard engage potential. So the more you have, the more you can use. We saw how eager both of these teams were to pull the trigger, but of course there's nothing more iconic than Thresh YellOwStaR.
I love this pick. It gives you so many opportunities to bring the Skarner in. Skarner can go with the Impale, immediately click the Dark Passage. You can bring them miles away from their team. It's a really nice pick, but also just gives you a lot of safety with someone like the Ashe, who I feel like in the last game didn't do terribly for Exakick, but just needed that little extra bit of safety. So, you know
what? but it was missing the oomph.
A little bit of oomph and, you know, a little bit of safety oomph. I don't know how you would, you know, pronounce that, but going forward, we are going to see a bit of a mirror matchup there. Shemek going to get his Ornn up into that top side. And for GamersOrigin, what do you go for here as your support?
I think that's not a bad choice to go for the Tamkens, because if anyone gets impaled, you can just gobble them up and get them out of trouble. I really actually like that, because you can actually get away from that QSS sort of mentality, if you will. But one of the big threats to a Thresh is a Blitzcrank, because it is just so obvious when your AD or whoever is stuck and you're throwing the lantern, you know where they're going to end up. So a hook is going... You don't even have to guess where to throw your hook, basically.
It is Hook City in the bot lane, and this is the beauty about Blitzcrank as well. Blitzcrank does not offer much else apart from the hook, but the hook is so damn dangerous. All it takes is one onto one carry, and the fight is completely over. So you can't ever discount it. You can't ever lock it away. But the Wukong going to be the final pick there for LDLC, for Bando in that top side. Gives a little bit more agency, a little bit more kind of flankability, I suppose, with the Cyclone. Overall, feels like both teams are feeling pretty comfortable with these drafts.
It's just engaged City.
Yeah,
Both
overall.
You've got Wukong, Thresh, Ashe, and Skarner wanted to actually brawl and go in with a lot of poke from Zoe. And on the other side, you have one of the best hard engages in the game, which is the Ornn right here, together with a lot of hooks coming in from Blitzcrank. The Blitzcrank Caitlyn lane, again, Hustlin and SMILEY are going for a full oppressive lane, while you see on the other side of the map for GamersOrigin, it's kind of farm city. You want your Orianna farmed, you want your own farmed. You know, you have again the front to back typical team fight, while LDLC is clearly looking to brawl.
Quick one. Do we see level 1 shenanigans?
We have to. It's LFL.
It is LFL. We'll have to wait and see as we jump onto the rift.
There we
and
go.
Already they're
You can
grouping
tell.
up towards the bot lane. I love shenanigans. Always love to see the shenanigans coming out into the level 1, especially with a Blitzcrank, because again, it's so dangerous. You don't need to take anything else. Your Q is the only thing that you need to kind of happen in this lane, and they're already moving themselves up towards this bot side, trying to see if they can catch someone out.
I can't necessarily see. I'm too far away. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, producers. I was trying to squint to see the screen, but luckily one closer to me turned on.
Yes. We have plenty of TVs here, plenty of different technologies to help us see, but the sneaky little level 1 not going to be bearing any fruit this time round for GamersOrigin, but the fact that there's a threat of it at any point is always something you have to respect. But TynX now finding himself in enemy blue side, trying to get himself a little bit of a 3-buff start.
I mean, if you look at GamersOrigin, they smell it. They know that possibly Bando and TynX have snuck into the jungle of bluezor. So they're going in as 3. You see how cautious they are, throwing in the Orianna ball first to try and check. And we might actually see a blast cone.
Yeah, they're going to blast cone over. I don't really know if anyone wants to take this one. Neither one is very good in a level 1, but it is toucouille who obviously has the side advantage, able to rotate first, and then thanks for the leash from bluezor, and he's going to pick himself up his blue, and probably just a little bit of a slower clear there from TynX.
See, seeing both these junglers, it's kind of been TynX being reactive to bluezor, even though on the map it looks like he's reactive. You don't necessarily have the resources there to pull out and invade like this. toucouille came instantly. That would be 3v2 level 1 you don't want to take necessarily, and TynX is set ahead, is set behind yet again.
And obviously very early in the game, you can see
The
camp
tent.
emoji does land the hook. They're going to see if they can get something else. The flash has to be burned, and that is the danger of a Blitzcrank in the bot lane.
And Thresh is something that I call a pseudo-tank. He's not necessarily tanky enough to withstand all that early game poke coming in from the Caitlyn and the Blitzcrank. And you see again, Hustlin and SMILEY are asserting their dominance down the bot lane, and Hustlin yet again moving in the bot quadrant of TynX's jungle together with bluezor.
Yeah, I like this as well from the side of GamersOrigin. You got the pick, you know you've blown the flash away from YellOwStaR.
He wants TynX.
He wants TynX, but it's also because he has that pressure in the bot side. The Blitzcrank is allowed to move forward. Stole it, and the little one as well. toucouille is here. They land the Sleep with Triple Bubble, but they know that everybody's around. GamersOrigin just very smartly using their pressure that they just got in bot lane to affect the rest of the map.
And it's always has been the bot lane of GamersOrigin. That little pressure created a domino domino effect of Hustling being allowed to roam for his jungler. bluezor gets also the pressure from the support being with him and enters the side of TynX's jungle.
Not allowed to play League of Legends right now. Does hit level 3 off of getting that scuttle. Should be able to get himself out. Has got phase rush on top of himself. So actually Shemek is forced to flash away. That's the power of not having the the predator over the phase rush over the predator. You get those little kind of skirmishes and you're able to get yourself out. He does get the scuttle, does hit level 3. Still a bit behind, but overall gaining a flash for free, you'll take it.
It's just really tough for him though, because he only has one quadrant to play in his jungle, whilst bluezor took his blue quadrant, TynX's blue quadrant, and now he's just chilling, going into his red quadrant and taking it all as well. By the time that his camps will be level 2, TynX's camps will still be respawning.
And for TynX, obviously being put behind right now, but Skarner's kind of one of those champions that once he hits level 6, it doesn't matter how far behind he's been for a very long time, he's still a level 6 Skarner. You still need to pay that Skarner tax because it's still going to last the same amount of CC as it always does. So right now, it just feels like it's just delaying the inevitable, but great start from bluezor, able to keep himself ahead, able to put himself in a very promising position going into those early/mid-game fights.
Yeah, and you will see him slowly but surely trying to make his way down the bot lane. Remember, YellOwStaR still hasn't got his flash up and available, so one pillar onto YellOwStaR will most likely guarantee that hook landing.
And I want to see that as well. I want to see GamersOrigin try and either put pressure onto this bot lane knowing that the flash is down, or at least just try and get like some kind of a move elsewhere knowing they have that pressure. And now we saw the result of the early pressure they were able to get, pushing TynX out of the jungle. I want to see more of it. You know the flash still isn't up.
And as you can see, the two junglers, bluezor is 2 whole levels ahead. This is why he's not ganking yet. He's trying to rush that level 6, leave TynX behind, and then be extremely impactful in the next fights to come. Also, maybe look to sneak a dragon.
See TynX now roaming down towards here. Hard to do.
This is what TynX is checking. He's like, this guy's 2 levels ahead of me.
Yeah. He has to be careful, though, because he has no real pressure in his lanes. And bluezor might sniff something as he starts to walk himself onto Vision. Just seeing if he can get anything caught out. They're already seeing if there's any dragon, just clearing out the Vision there. But I don't think TynX can honestly really contest for this right now at any stage. He's a little bit too far behind.
It's honestly funny how much the teams know each other. They know that bluezor is going to play towards the strengths of his team, which is the bot side, and they have the entire bot river lit up with red wounds, which bluezor is cleaning one by one.
Absolutely. But you still have it. There is the Dark Passage, going to be able to slow down YellOwStaR off the back of it. They do use the Hawk Shot to gain Vision. The Flay comes in. The TP's coming off with the Ornn as well. He is level 5. Has not got the Ornn Horn. First blood to LDLC, but can they able to get out alive? They have got Vetheo roaming in as fast as he can. He is level 6, so he has got himself the portal jump, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get himself out or into this fight. They pick up the Ashe and the Thresh as well. It's a double kill, 3 for 1. GamersOrigin, thank you very much.
Again, pulling the trigger with a TP advantage. Bando had just TP'd into his lane, had no business getting down there. They're using their numbers advantage. The GamersOrigin again through their bot lane. They're starting slowly but surely to get advantages.
Vetheo almost getting caught by the rocket grab there. No dragon taken just yet, only a plate gained in the top side, but it's already about 700, 800 gold lead coming in here for GamersOrigin. And with those coals kind of slowly stacking up as well, they should be able to... Oh, Bando!
Oh,
that's a very unfortunate... No mana, but he should be able to get out. Has got flash, just going to be delayed a little bit longer, so very, very annoying. And again, GamersOrigin, they're looking in control.
The unlucky thing for TynX here is that all the kills went into bluezor as well, which will give him that much more freedom with items. And as you see, TynX is trying to be proactive since he has stayed behind with experience. It all goes great, but what they don't take into consideration is that the Ornn can join the fight while their own Wukong cannot. So they take advantage again, GamersOrigin, from the numbers that they have. And by the way, Vetheo is there, toucouille is as well, so it doesn't really matter.
It just feels like an overforce. You had to use the Skarner flash, the Thresh flash, and the Ashe flash to try and just get the kill, let alone get anything else. Hook lands there, and a good flay on the 2 people means the Subjugate's going to have to be used straight away. Great Cyclone, though, on top of the 2 members who are not supposed to be in that side of the jungle. bluezor forced to flash away and use the Blast Cone to keep himself safe. But YellOwStaR, he's not done. He sees SMILEY up on this top side, who has no cleanse, who has has no flash. Trying to see if they can go for something here. Does not land the hook. The Yordle Snap Trap is there. Flash burn from the W here. And SMILEY, will he be able to get away? I don't think he can. They're going to be able to clean this one up pretty damn easily. And Vetheo picks up the reward. Overall, LDLC smashing back, picking themselves up a dragon, getting themselves 2 kills.
I was almost going to say that it was worth it for Hustling to die there because bluezor keeps denying TynX his own jungle and has stolen his red buff repeatedly. But the fact that both Hustling and SMILEY died, SMILEY had absolutely no reason being underneath the opponent jungle's, the opponent top laner's tower.
Well, it sort of works. Well, we take those.
He hit someone.
Yeah, it's still 100% hit rate for the moment, but again, thank you for the leash. GamersOrigin, bluezor just pushing himself in with his support of his support in HustlinbeasT and just able to pick themselves up an objective.
Again, you saw how strong bluezor was even in this invade because he had the level 6. He was able to put down that ultimate and get away with it. But SMILEY overforcing it right there. This is kind of like a double-edged sword when your bot lane is the aggressor in the game and also being the squishiest members. It's kind of a double-edged sword because they take one step further than they should and they instantly get punished like they did. Luckily for LDLC, it's the Zoe that's the recipient of 1 of 2 kills because it's extremely snowbally on that champion.
Again, looking at this match from a kind of a narrative sense as such that these are not only 2, you know, LFL, very strong, massive giants and organizations in the LFL, but this is the reigning EU Masters champions in the quarterfinals, looking to be the first team to ever repeat the championship run.
So I'll take it one step further.
Yeah.
This was meant to be, if you remember last split, we're talking about an either Polska Gurum final or an All Friends final. The GamersOrigin versus LDLC was meant to be the All Friends final. We're getting right here. We're getting to see what that match would look like.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think as well, just kind of overall, even in the LFL as of right now, GamersOrigin 10-2. You're looking at LDLC. They are up in the table, but they're not
7-5.
7-5. It's okay. It's not bad. You're definitely on the higher end of winning, but you need to just kind of look at it from that lens of coming into this tournament. It just felt like there was a bit of a... They obviously had to have their own EU Masters qualifications, but it didn't really tell the full story of these 2 teams, or even the 3 organizations that are in this tournament. And right now, we're seeing why GamersOrigin arguably could have been the top seed coming into this tournament because they're just looking so clean, so good, so controlled.
And this is why we're saying that the group that GamersOrigin was in, they had the #1 seed from NLC, the #1 seed from the Prime League, and GamersOrigin, had the LFL been completed by now, they could potentially also be the first seed from the LFL. Bando,
Hex Flash over the top. HustlinbeasT is able to take down the turret straight away, and Bando has nowhere to go. Will he be able to take out SMILEY before he dies? He will not. And the difference is in the top lane and the bot lane is that their top laner didn't die. So GamersOrigin picking themselves up a nice, clean little kill and taking themselves 2 towers.
SMILEY with cold blood running through his veins. He had Flash all this time and he trusted in his ability and his teammates to keep him alive. Bando had absolutely no reason being there. He doesn't have a single item completed, just a Shin and a Hydra, a Tiamat, sorry. And he ends up going down super quickly. Brawling with 3 people is not what you want.
And we said we wanted to see TynX lighting up for the side of LDLC. But for GamersOrigin, it's kind of been the same story. Shemek and bluezor are kind of on their standard duties of, you know, facilitating the lanes, and then toucouille and SMILEY kind of do what they need to do.
Yeah. toucouille is just chilling until he has his 2 items. This is where we started seeing him shine in the previous game, just because he just didn't necessarily have to do anything before that. And right here, all he has to do is just keep on picking up the waves that Vetheo is pushing underneath his tower. Whilst Vetheo, now we will see how much impact he can have. This is where you see a bunch of LDLC members being around mid lane.
First item completed for Vetheo. He is the first to do so, if you're not including jungle items of the Cinder Hulks for both junglers, but half items across the board for everybody else. So, dragging up in just under 10 seconds. It looks like GamersOrigin are not going to try and contest for that one. However, bluezor still feeling confident, had Flash nearly available, should have it in about a second or 2, and Subjugate, but Hawkshot, the most OP ability in the world, if you think about it, in terms of vision control, and gets themselves full knowledge that they are nobody at this dragon.
I just want to say that SMILEY has gotten full plates down the bot lane, and he's got all by 2 plates up in the top set, and he will have much more time pushing in a wave to get the entire tower as well. So this Caitlyn will be absolutely rich when he is back in base. And you see how bluezor is actually standing together with his AD, protecting, trying to cash in on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, they get themselves a turret potentially and also more gold for the two of them. Of course, they're looking towards getting that Caitlyn towards a nice item spike. The turret does fall. Bando gets subjugated, and they back away. They have to commit an ultimate for it, but it's all fine.
And LDLC again are behind the play. They move over to the top side, but it's just too late. All that bluezor was doing there was trying to keep Bando away from SMILEY's Caitlyn. SMILEY's Caitlyn has gotten 2 full towers with 2 full turret platings. He's got the Stormrazor, and he's got the crit cloak as well. His headshots are going to hurt like a Zoe Q, I want to say.
Just as bad, I almost imagine, as they, depending on the distance.
Same HP bar that's going to be missing.
Exactly. Vetheo, he's kind of been the shining light in the last game. Kind of feels like he needs to be it again. TynX not really having the same impact that we've expected of him throughout the tournament. Vetheo seems to be the one that's really kind of like owning into this kind of setup. And Bando doesn't know if he's coming or going right now. It feels like he's going in, he's going out. He isn't quite sure exactly what he wants to do. And overall, it just feels like GamersOrigin, the composition they've built, the setup they've gone for everybody. Vetheo and TynX trying to get something to the spot side. They're going to be spotted out almost immediately, so there's no real advantage here. It just feels like GamersOrigin, in all aspects, are just feeling better, looking better. And I know TynX was the one we highlighted, but bluezor actually has looked amazing right now as Exakick forced to flash away behind the minions, uses the crowded crystal arrow, but it goes between the sticks and gets himself 3 points and nothing else. They do flash in on top of the Blitzcrank, though, get the impale. He's not able to get his silence off either as the TP's coming in from the Ornn. He will have to back himself away immediately as the rest of LDLC was prepared. Good pick off for LDLC, but what do you get from it? There's nothing up.
Yeah, Hustling overextends right there and pays for it. But what is more important is that the bot lane of LDLC are lacking all of their summoners. So I would say trading that kill is worth it for Hustling, because in the next fight, Exakick is going to be extremely exposed to getting chain CC'd.
And this is the big difference between what I like to call, like, you know, the great teams and the okay teams.
I thought you were gonna say the int and the I don't know what
the
call
pog.
The pog and the int.
I guess, yeah. But this is the difference that you generally see. Generally, when you look at LEC, LPL, LCK, and some of the top teams here in EU Masters, they get a pick, it turns into an objective. They get a kill, they turn it. They get a summoner, it turns into a kill. With LDLC, Deja vu, I have been through this place before, and it's not going to look good for you. Exakick shut down going over to the side of SMILEY. But again, this is what I'm talking about. They pick up the Rift Herald, and they get a pick, and they can probably look to check up mid lane. This is why I think GamersOrigin just look like a much cleaner team. They're gaining advantages from the things they're making happen.
I was just about to say GamersOrigin look like the better team, at least in these best of 3. LDLC are looking way too scattered. They're constantly behind the play. They cannot find any pressure onto the map, even when they have advantage. And GamersOrigin are more than willing to pull the trigger at any point because they know they're ahead.
There's Exakick putting down the Enchanted Crystal Arrow right down the mid lane. It is going to hit Shemek on the backside, which is not what you want.
He's fine. He's chilling.
And that's, yeah, it just feels bad, man, right now. It's just not really working out right now, and everything just seems to be going in favor of GamersOrigin. Yes, it's only 1 kill, and they're 2 dragons down, but they got themselves a, you know, 3,500 gold lead.
If you look at the 2 ADCs, they have pretty even CS. If you look at their gold behind the scenes, though...
Yeah, it's a bit of a different story, as almost everything is identical.
Down 2 towers with full platings.
Yeah,
so.
Well, as you said, he got the player plates. He was able to get that solo, you know, golden experience on top of himself. Thank you very much, Eva, our observer, for showing us that. The top side, Bando, I don't think you want this one, buddy. I don't think you really want to fight this, even without the Ornn Horn. He's just going to get clapped down. The Cyclone's second proc is just about enough to keep him alive. And you can see in this mid lane, everyone just kind of bunching up, keeping themselves alive as the best they can, but Shemek gets himself a simple kill. There's just nothing else there, and Vetheo has... This has gone on... Honestly, it's going so wrong so quickly for LDLC. GamersOrigin look like they're just going to smash them.
I feel like what it is about LDLC that they haven't figured out is which player has which role in their team. Who is the carry? who has to lay back and be the tank and the initiator, and GamersOrigin have figured it out. They're more than willing to play to their strengths and their roles, and it shows on the Rift.
They have a teleport, though, onto Bando. They have got options to maybe go into this, but they can't right now. There's no ultimate. There's no flash to initiate. They don't really have the items picked up right now, and they're going to have to give that one up. So the stacking of dragons now starts to feel a little bit more in favor of GamersOrigin. You get 2, 3 Infernal Drakes. You're starting to hit really damn hard.
Yep, level 11 for the Ornn as well. In 2 levels, he will be starting to throw away some upgrades, 2 items onto the Caitlyn. This is going to be huge for SMILEY because he has been the moving key for the entire GamersOrigin. All the pressure, all the kills, all the ganks, they happen because these bot lanes are so oppressive to play against. Oh, talking about them. I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to cast the curse.
Cast the curse is real and it happens to everybody, but bluezor going to be the one sitting in this mid lane underneath the turrets. Pretty damn healthy. And with toucouille as well, should be able to keep everyone alive. They have no teleport onto Shemek. They're going to use the Hex Flash. Nope, not quite able to pull that one for TynX. Going to back themselves away. And again, LDLC, I feel like I'm ragging them a little bit too hard right now because it is just GamersOrigin looking that much stronger. Looking like they're the ones that are just confident in what they're doing.
I think what it is that if it was any other team other than the reigning champions, would have been, yeah, fine, GamersOrigin have taken the upper hand. But these are the guys who won very convincingly the spring split. We talked about people moving over to the LEC. We talked about TynX being the best jungler in EU that's not in the LEC. And here, it has been bluezor. And TynX is living in his shadow the entire series.
Yeah, I got to give full props to bluezor right now and Shemek on the top side. They've just looked better than their opponents in the series. And overall, you know, I'm sure the actual, if you were to quantify the skill levels and everything like that and what was required to be a pro player, they're probably incredibly close. But just this series right now, it just feels like GamersOrigin are in sync, and having that Blitzcrank hustle, whoa, that was a bit wide there. They're going to maybe try and go for bluezor, who has to flash himself away, use the subjugate as well. Chanted Crystal Arrow right between the sticks. But again, it feels like GamersOrigin, they can make those kind of mistakes because they're not going to really lose much from it.
I think the reason you saw that...
as I say that, they're not going to lose much from it. They are going to lose HustlinbeasT, who's also going to lose his flash. And again, a little bit overzealous there. GamersOrigin just need to, you know, just calm it down. You were doing great. Don't get too hype.
I think this is the double-edged sword when you're playing something like the Blitzcrank. It's either you're gonna kill or get killed. There's no middle ground depending on who you're gonna hook or how far you're gonna go to try and hook someone. So it's kind of like what we're saying between the POG and the int play. A lot of HustlinbeasT's deaths out of the 3 have been worth it because they've been winning something around the map. That was just a simple kill given over to LDLC. At this point, you're not giving anything away, but you're allowing LDLC to take breaths.
Coming up now, 21 and a bit on the clock. GamersOrigin very much in the lead, got themselves about a 2,500 gold lead. Where do you want to see them go? Where do you want to see them pressure to try and really hone in this advantages and push themselves towards that 2-0 victory?
If we're talking GamersOrigin and you look at the gold lead, you see how disciplined they are to know that they're ahead. You see both of their carries having the QSS, so you can take every fight you want, like Shemek.
Shemek gonna eat that Cyclone for breakfast. And there's the ace in the hole. Not gonna be given over though.
You can't do that.
Bando.
You can't do that, Bando. This is the second time.
It's a bit unfortunate there, and Bando really not having a good series right now. Needs to try and find some kind of flank, and it's just not really happening for him right now.
It's a deception. This Ornn is not a tank. He's an assassin. You can't just go at him.
Well, he is a tank, but you're not going to be able to assassinate.
That's all lies.
You're not
That's all lies. Ornn is an assassin. You just don't take this out of my head.
You just don't. You're not able to assassinate someone who's gone literally full armor against you. So there's nothing you can do. As we can see, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. Oh! Shockwave lands onto 4. They do pick up HustlinbeasT though, who had not got a flash. Overall, pretty good pickup for LDLC. Good response from GamersOrigin though, as they are not able to take anything from it.
If LDLC are going to start coming back, it's by beating the Piñata that's called HustlinbeasT right now. Because they can keep on getting gold out of him until he reaches, I think, 6 deaths. I don't know what's the cap of getting lower gold from deaths.
I believe it's 6.
6, yeah. So he has 2 more to die. They have 2 more kills, and then they can cash in from the Piñata, and then they're done. But Hustlin is just going a little bit further. again, you're giving away pressure that you shouldn't, because with the extra person around the map, LDLC will feel comfortable to go for a pick when SMILEY is going to be all on his lonesome without the Blitzcrank around.
Okay, 15 seconds till the Infernal Drake spawns. It should be the second one for GamersOrigin. Looks like the side of LDLC want nothing to do with it, and they have absolutely no vision. Thank you very much, observers. But it feels like GamersOrigin are the ones who feel like they might be able to get a pick from this. Hex Flash lands. They do not get the Ice Pillar on the right side. No harm, no foul. They're just going to go back, pick themselves up in Infernal.
Bando just went back, and I thought he was going to have his Death Stance available, but it was just a longsword. I was deceived.
Almost gets it. They're going to give this one up, though. GamersOrigin now stacking 2 Infernal Drakes on their back. LDLC have not been able to take any since those first 2.
But it gives them time, right?
Yeah.
They move up to the top side of the map and they make sure that the Baron area is secured for now. So even if they lose 1 or 2 members, they will still have vision over it, try and fight against GamersOrigin. GamersOrigin, they really want to take this fight.
Shockwave lands on Vetheo. It's only a one-man Shockwave. There's the Ornn horn blown to summon the Forge God. They will land it on top of Vetheo as well. He's forced to use his actual flash.
Wow.
They use the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well to keep HustlinbeasT at bay.
You don't see that very often.
No.
Vetheo using her actual flash.
But again, nothing really lost, nothing really gained. It's actually GamersOrigin who come out with the healthier health bars. They're able to keep the waves pushing. They're the ones that keep the advantage. And overall, I feel like they just went for the fight thinking if they get something awesome, if we don't, it's really not that big of a deal.
I mean, you take those. You blow 2 ultimates that are going to be back in a minute and a half maximum, and then Vetheo will not have a flash available to him. That means the second he presses his R, it's going to be a very easy target for Hustling to try and get it. You see that GamersOrigin have sort of slowed down because they know that the scaling game is in their hands. They have the beefy front line, they have the big potential, and 2 insanely scaling carries going into the late game in the likes of toucouille's Orianna and SMILEY's Caitlyn.
You talk about SMILEY's Caitlyn, talk about GamersOrigin's kind of win condition as such. Nice little steal there from bluezor. Does not want any of his
He's getting everything. Every smite goes his way.
He's getting most things, at least. You could say that. But if you're LDLC, if you're a fan of the LDLC, how do you send this to a third game? Where are you looking for them to try and really push forward and maybe look for something as this game kind of slowly progresses?
You might not like it, but I think the pick potential lies on Ornn. There's too many QSSs on the rest of the squad of GamersOrigin, plus cleanses. There's just no way you're pinning down any of the actual carries. So if you take Ornn out of the picture, which means you're going to have to commit way too many people down there without teleport, and you might end up losing Baron. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You pick the Ornn, great, they don't have a front line, but then GamersOrigin is just going to start the Baron.
We've got ourselves a little bit of a mid-game lull. Level 11's being hit by most people and above. As we can see, maybe bluezor going for something. The Shrelia's Revelry has been popped. They use the Impale straight on top of the Trundle, who's just spazzing out because of his subjugate, but he will fall down. Now they're trying to go for it. Shockwave does land on top of Bando to keep him away, but the Caitlyn is off this now. That was a perfect flank from Bando, and you can see Exakick just flashing in, healing, looking to get that damage down. He will eventually get it off, and GamersOrigin on the returning side of a team fight will be taken down 4 for 1. LDLC are back.
Bando has been beaten down by the Forge Gods over and over and over again, and he comes into this fight like the god LDLC needed to win it. Gets into the backline, decimates SMILEY, gets a numbers advantage for LDLC. Really great fight for them to get the Baron as well.
Gonna go for this Baron. There's no Shockwave, no Flash into toucouille, so it'll be very, very dangerous if you wanted to go for it. You've got TynX respawning just now as well. They throw out the Hawk Shock just to make sure, but it is almost certainly going to be the Baron going their way, and now LDLC have themselves an advantage.
Honestly, I really like this fight from LDLC because you see how hard GamersOrigin forced again. They peel back from LDLC, they grab the Trundle, and they instantly kill their front line. By the time Shemek is in, there's numbers advantage for LDLC. Only 1-man Shockwave landing onto YellOwStaR means that the entire team is free to move forward and end it, whilst Bando is completely deleting the backline.
Yeah, straight up front-to-back team fight with a flank because Exakick and Vetheo just weren't touched.
Honestly, if you look at the inventories, that was the perfect fight to take from LDLC because there's a lot of cool items that are almost completed by GamersOrigin, but not yet. So the Infinity Edge just completed for SMILEY. There's Death Cap coming in for toucouille. There's also the Galgoy for bluezor. These were very key items that had they been completed, that would have possibly been a different fight. LDLC see the opening and they take down GamersOrigin. They take down GamersOrigin. There you go.
Just in case there was any confusion.
Just in case we didn't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Which, in fairness, you know, sometimes I don't. You're the one who keeps me on the straight and narrow. But there you are, as you said, the Molten Edge picked up there for the Caitlyn, as well as the Rabadon's Death Cap. 30 seconds until this Infernal Drake, and you feel like LDLC, they're going to be the ones who want to try and fight this. They want to try and stop a big stack of ultimates coming in. As well, on top of that, you've also got an ornament on top of the Rabadon, so a lot of teamfight damage coming in here for the side of GamersOrigin, but they don't care about the Infernal at all. They're going to look for the end. They can end the game on this.
They know they have the spike, they know they have the items, they know they have the stats, and they're inviting LDLC to fight them if they want to.
Oh, this is dangerous territory to be kind of going in. TynX going to use the Blast Cone perfectly to keep himself away from everything else. They're going to jump onto the Ornn, who gets impaled and brought back. Shemek is down, did not get to use the Ornn Horn to bring his god to help him. And now LDLC, they can keep pushing back. See if they can get something else on top of this. They're going to run straight towards that dragon.
What did we talk about? Pick onto the guy who doesn't have a way to get out of the Skarner ultimate. And that is, unfortunately for Shemek, the Ornn. That was a great pick from LDLC. It frees them into the map, puts them on soul point, as well as getting them pressure in the middle. Shemek is down for at least 20 seconds. They could look to even pressure inhibitor towers.
Looks like they could go for it, but they're not going to. They are just going to take themselves the tier 2 in mid lane and the Infernal Drake. And again, more pressure kind of mounting on top of GamersOrigin. We're now onto Soul Point. Thank you very much, observers, for looking at the gold. It's pretty much evens across the board, but out of nowhere, look at that gold on the Wukong versus the Ornn. He was, as you said, beaten down all damn day, and now he's about 3,000 ahead.
And he's actually deleting the backline of GamersOrigin. You can get as many QSSs as you want. You can have as many cleanses as you want, but you're not gonna get away from Bando's Wukong, because once you're knocked up, the amount of damage that you have already received will be lethal.
And the difference in 1,300 gold that has to be spent for SMILEY is a QSS versus a Last Whisper for Exakick. That is the Skarner tax paying dividends for the side of LDLC. But they're not out of the woods. We know how these two teams operate. It's far less bloody affair in this one than it was in the previous one. But for GamersOrigin, they have so many ways of coming back into this. We talked about the single hook that come in, but even then, this massive teamfight ultimates in the Shockwave and the Call of the Forge God could just change any situation.
The thing is that at this point, GamersOrigin seems like they're double thinking every move that they're making on the Rift, because a lot of times Hustlin has overstepped. Remember all these skills that we said that were constantly cashing in onto the Blitzcrank, they actually translated into items that were able to win that mid lane fight, and then it snowballed out of control. This is GamersOrigin thinking what the next step will be, and not being as confident as they could have been 5 minutes ago when they were in the lead. Now it's LDLC with the foot forward. Now it's LDLC having an overly fed Wukong, level 16, level 3 ultimate, and a Guardian Angel. But it's going to be such a huge nuisance for the backline. Nuisance is putting it lightly.
Very, very lightly. And all summoners are starting to come up. You're seeing flashes available, cleanses, ignites, TPs. So now we're looking at who can play this smarter, who can make the moves they need to do. Now, there's no objective for about a minute and a half. It will be the Baron that will be spawning. But right now, what do you want to see from both these teams? Where do you want to see them go to try and, either finish out this win and go for the, third game kind of run back for LDLC, or finish this off and go for a 2-0 if your GamersOrigin?
I think you kind of see it on your screen right now. TynX has now taken the lead here. He's the one invading. They're getting a lot of vision around the Baron. Baron's going to be up and spawning in 1 minute. So you want to take complete control of that quadrant of the jungle and make sure you're strong on that side of the map for that purple worm to spawn. Now, something that's very unfortunate for Vetheo playing the Zoe, this is an Infernal Rift, which means that he doesn't necessarily have these long walls to try and string his Sleepy Trouble Bubble through.
Doesn't have that, but you do have TynX on a Skarner that can just scurry his way through it. Yes, but you could always just get TynX on his, the Skarner to scurry through the wards, but no vision here. bluezor is going to try and push back Exakick. Does get the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and they don't actually lose anything off that. It's not a massively small cooldown. There is the QSS burned by HustlinbeasT, and now he's gone asleep. And do they want to try and defend this or go for this? They're just going to try and poke out. The power of Zoe starting to really work out for LDLC right here.
He's reading the manual of how do I do Sleepy Trouble Bubbles in an Infernal Reef. He's reading the Magi's book, and it is actually paying back.
Oh, they do get the hook. They are going to try and get him, but he gets impaled. He has no QSS. He can't escape. And Vetheo picks himself up his kill. And this is the power that we talked about, the pick potential that you mentioned with so many things you have to worry about. One QSS is never going to be enough.
The piñata. HustlinbeasT has actually been a mechanical piñata for LDLC right now. You move a little bit forward. You thought you caught someone. That someone should not be TynX.
Here we go. There is a TP available for Shemek here if he wants to try and jump on top of this one. So look at Bando on the back side of this. He has got himself a GA as well. There's the TP coming in. Thank you very much, observers. Darren down to about 2,500, down to 1,000. He's going to jump in. He's not able to steal it. And the shockwave does land on top of YellOwStaR, but it's going to be the Orianna who falls. A perfect flank from Bando means they're able to clean up most, if not all, of these kills. HustlinbeasT responds to see the rest of his team die. And it's LDLC who take firm control of this game.
They're bringing it back. They're 7,000 gold, 8,000 gold in the lead right now. They've got the purple worm on their side, and they can actually push into the base. Hustling, what are you doing there?
They want the ace. They just want the ace. They don't care who gets it. Clean ace, 5 for nothing, and a Baron. LDLC will not end just yet, but they are damn well close to bringing us to a game 3.
So Bando clearly had the perfect flank ward here for his TP. He sees SMILEY and toucouille. This is oh so sweet for him to press his R button on, and once the two carries are completely decimated, Shemek's like, well, I'll try to be outie. But that time, remember the crystal arrow that they had used, and then it was on cooldown? Well, it comes back up just in time to clean up the place. I don't know what Haslin's doing.
I think he just decided, you know what, I'm going to clear this wave bot side.
Even if you clear this wave though, the towers is so low.
And that is Infernal Soul to boot. So, bit of a shaky early to mid-game from LDLC has turned into absolute acceleration for them in the late. Baron, Infernal Soul, they've got lanes pushing. They have got themselves in a good situation as well to be able to kind of push and try and catch people. Honestly, right now, it's going to take a miracle for GamersOrigin.
You know what it feels like when you have Infernal Soul on Ashe?
Oh my god! So much damage! And that ace in the hole didn't even tickle TynX. It's so much damage from the Zoe.
We're most likely looking like if LDLC can take this fight, they could potentially straight up end.
They can look to try and kill off the tank, and they are exactly what they're going to try and go for. They will be able to take down Shemek. He will
Bando?
maybe be able to get Bando on the backside as well. He's on top of 4 people. They can't deal with him. They can't take him down. They will eventually get him, but it's too little, too late. The GA is there. He should be able to respawn. The Subjugate just keeps bluezor alive a little bit, but it doesn't matter. They're going to ignore you anyway. It's another clean ace for the side of LDLC, and they will send us to a game 3 in this best of 3.
Wow. We're halfway through the game, and the second we say LDLC just don't look good, man.
They heard us.
GamersOrigin completely look like the superior team here. LDLC completely turn around. They're like, what? That's not going to happen. Vetheo woke up, Bando woke up, and out of their individual efforts and beating Hustling a little bit in this game, they managed to grab the gold, grab the items, and Bando, from getting beaten up from the Forge Gods over and over again, finds the backline. That was a beautiful turnaround by LDLC. I just don't know how.
Well, we will break down exactly how as LDLC strike back and bring this LFL showdown to match point. We'll be back with game number 3 and a breakdown of game number 2 right after this. A banger of a game sends us to game 3. Might as well be a best of 1. I'm Penguin. This is Trouble, of course, and
Did we piss off LDLC, Penguin?
maybe.
I think we pissed them off.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, fantastic comeback for them in what was a shaky early game. And right now, we got ourselves a series. I know it's a very obvious thing to say, but this was looking pretty dire at the start of the game. It looked like GamersOrigin had it in the bag.
They were constantly ahead in the game, ahead of the play. They had the first swaps, they had the macro rotations, they had the wave management, they had the engage, they had the plays. bluezor was 2 levels ahead on TynX at some point, and it suddenly all started going wrong by hustling, overextending just a tiny bit. And sure, it's also the goal because I memed it, he's a piñata, he drops gold every time he dies, but also the fact that while he's dead, LDLC have the numbers advantage. It gives them minutes of fresh air, a fresh breath that they can take with knowing that GamersOrigin are not gonna make a play on them. So they could chill on their side lanes, push their waves, cash in on more gold, and once the gold got locked in and Vetheo took the book of instructions in his inventory, it was pretty much over.
And again, we talked about the kind of power of the Blitzcrank, but we didn't really talk about the power of the flank from the, the Wukong. And every single time,
Where did that come from?
Yeah, where did it come from? But not only just that, but every single time you could see the plan from LDLC was pick the 1 or 2 people that do not have QSS, blow them up, and force the rest of the team to blow their, kind of engage or their disengage or whatever they needed to do to try and save them. And it just worked pretty much every single time. And 1-1 in the scoreline between these 2 French giants means that anything can happen in this next game. I'm excited to see what they bring out because we're going to need to see something slightly different from either of these sides because it feels like neither has fully figured out what they want to do or how they want to do it.
I feel like now it's more exciting going into game 3 because after game 1, we look at LDLC, we're like, what is happening there? They haven't necessarily yet realized what they want to do. They haven't necessarily realized what their plan is, how they want to play, who's the carry, who's the tank, what composition, what works for them, what's best for them. Is TynX going to come online? And it literally clicked halfway through this game. They woke up, they realized what their win conditions were, they started capitalizing on mistakes from GamersOrigin, and this was the snappy decisions that we've seen the LFL take. Both GamersOrigin and LDLC are taking split-second decisions that have both won and lost in the games.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly how it all unfolds coming into Game 3. GamersOrigin did pick blue side, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. This is the last game that will decide the first LFL representative to advance to the semifinals. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the EU Masters, where we pit the very best ERL teams against one another while showcasing up-and-coming European talent. 12 regions will compete to decide who will reign supreme over Europe, so be the first to scout and the first to cheer. Let's get right into it. EU Masters begins with the play-in group stage, where all regions will have at least one team represented, with a total of 16 teams divided into 4 groups. Here, each team will play against other teams in their group twice, with the top 2 seeds moving on to the play-in knockout stage. The winners here will move on to the group stage, where 12 teams have already pre-qualified. This group stage is where the teams will compete in a double round robin, with the top 2 teams advancing to the knockout stage. From September 15th to 16th, like before, top seeds will play against the second-seeded teams from other groups in a best-of-3, with winners moving on to the semi-finals. Here, the final 4 teams will play a best-of-3 and fight for their spot in the finals, where it'll be a best-of-5 to determine the next EU Masters champion. Each season, fresh talent explodes onto the Rift. The likes of Nemesis, Kazi, Selfmade, and Humanoid all rose up through the EU Masters. But who will be this year's champion? Who will be the next breakout player to make it into the LEC? Join the ride, tag along, and witness history in the making. Bye for now.